Hi, in this presentation, we will discuss about generic para 4 certification application or generic patent challenge application exclusivity in US. So there are different types of para or paragraph generic applications. When generic applicant files application with US FDA, the generic applicant has to certify his generic application in para 1, para 2, para 3 or para 4 certified generic application. So para 1 certification generic application. In this, generic applicant certifies to US FDA that there are no Orange Book listed patents related to innovator product. So in this case, FDA may immediately approve the generic application if all required data is submitted. Para 2 certification generic application. In this, generic applicant certifies to US FDA that all Orange Book listed patents related to innovator product have expired, and FDA may again immediately approve the generic application if all the required data is submitted. In generic para 3 certification application, generic applicant certifies to US FDA that Orange Book listed patents related to innovator product have yet not expired, and he will market the generic product after expiry of all those listed patents. So in this case, FDA may give tentative approval to generic applicant and will give final approval after expiry of all the listed patents in Orange Book which are related to innovator product. In para 4 certification generic application, generic applicant certifies to US FDA that Orange Book listed patents related to innovator product have yet not expired, but applicant is challenging those listed patents. Applicant believes that those listed patents in Orange Book are either invalid or not enforceable, or maybe my generic product is not infringing those listed patents. So in this case, FDA will approve the generic application after final court's decision in favor of generic applicant. So in para 4 certification application, the ultimately the case goes to the court. The generic applicant has to notify to the patent holder that he is challenging the patent, and then patent holder may within 45 days file the court case against the generic applicant, and then finally the court will decide whether those listed patent related to innovator product are valid or invalid, enforceable or not, or whether infringe or not infringe by generic product. So after final court's decision in favor of generic applicant, FDA may approve the generic application. And under para 4 certification, if generic application is approved, the first successful generic applicant under para 4 certification will get 180 days of exclusivity, generic para 4 exclusivity. And during this 180-day exclusivity, FDA will not approve any other generic product. So the generic para 4 applicant will have monopoly for 180 days exclusivity, and the generic applicant will earn huge money during this 6 month or 180-day exclusivity, because only generic and brand, one generic and brand products will be available in the market. And generally the generic product is priced slightly less than the innovator product. So many of the patents on the branded product will shift on generic products, and that's why the first para 4 generic applicant during this 6 month exclusivity will earn huge money. His market share will go up. But once the 6 month or 180-day exclusivity has expired, then many generics will come in the market and the market share of this first generic applicant will go down. Now coming to generic para 4 certification process. Generic applicant, when filing para 4 generic application, then generic applicant has to certify to the US FDA that applicant is challenging the Orange Book listed patents related to innovator product, because applicant believes that applicant generic product is not infringing the listed patents, or listed patents are invalid, or listed patents are unenforceable, they are not enforceable. If generic applicant is filing this para 4 generic application, then generic applicant within 20 days of filing the application sends notice to innovator or patent holder that he is filing para 4 certified generic application and he is challenging the Orange Book listed patents. Then innovator or patent holder may within 45 days file a court case against the generic applicant. And if no court case is filed within 45 days, then FDA may review the generic application and may approve it is approvable, and there will be no stay against the generic approval in this case. But if court case is filed by patent holder within 45 days, then FDA will grant 30 months stay on generic approval. US FDA will not approve the generic product for the next 30 months. There will be 30 months stay. Then court will decide whether the Orange Book listed and expired patents are infringed or not infringed, or valid or invalid, or enforceable or not enforceable. And if final court decision is in favor of generic applicant, then if the court says that okay, the generic applicant is not infringing the listed patent, or listed patents are invalid or not enforceable, then in that case the FDA will review the generic application and may approve the generic application if all the data is submitted. And in this case, generic applicant will get 180 days exclusivity on approval. So during this 180-day exclusivity, there will be only one generic product in the market. But if the final court decision is against generic applicant, then generic applicant need to change the application to para 3 certification application, and which will be approved by FDA only after expiry of Orange Book listed patents. So there will be no 180-day exclusivity for para 3 generic application. And also there is no 180-day exclusivity for para 1 or para 2 generic applications. There are certain duties or responsibility of generic para 4 applicant in the form of to notify and submit certain information to ESFDA. The generic applicant has to submit the certificate of providing notice to patent holder on sending. So whenever he sends the notice to innovator or patent holder, he has to submit the certificate of sending the notice. And then generic applicant has to submit the document of receipt of notice by patent holder within 30 days of receipt of that notice. Then generic applicant has to inform FDA on court case filing or not filing the patent holder within 14 days after 45 days period lapse. Means because within 45 days the patent holder has to file the court case, and after expiry of those 45 days, during next 14 days, the generic applicant has to notify the FDA whether court case has been filed or not filed, and he has to also inform when the litigation or the court case starts. And finally, the generic applicant has to inform the FDA about court case outcome or final decision of the court within 14 days of the court decision. So that's all in this presentation. Thank you very much.